Hello everyone, welcome back to On the Fly. Today we're going to be taking a look at a trade between the Boston Bruins and the New Jersey Devils. So the Bruins did receive Pavel Zacha's restricted free agent rights in exchange for Erik Haula. And when we take a look at this deal, it is a very interesting deal. We have two teams that are supposedly doing the opposite of what you would expect from them. The Bruins getting rid of an older player in exchange for a younger player, and the Devils, who are a rebuilding team, exchanging an older player for a younger player. And this deal is actually a pretty good deal when you look at it in depth. You have a player that hasn't quite been able to perform in Pavel Zacha, and you have a veteran leader in Erik Haula, who's on his way out. But for the Boston Bruins, this trade makes a lot of sense. Erik Haula doesn't really have a spot, and with this deal, I am going to assume that yes, David Krejci is coming back. Bergeron also should be back. And that's the reason why I believe the Bruins are making this deal. Because for Haula, there really isn't a spot for him. And take a look at the Bruins depth chart down the middle. You then have Bergeron, Krejci, and Coyle, 1, 2, and 3. You're not going to be paying $2.5 million for a fourth line center. So whether or not, or rather who's going to come into that role is going to be interesting to see for the Bruins. They do have quite a few options. But also with this deal, they do get a left winger, which they are sort of lacking in terms of bottom line scoring. As I previously mentioned, Pavel Zacha hasn't quite been able to find the back of the net, especially last year and the last few years. But you are going to get a cheap option in him, mainly because he doesn't have anything to say, yes, I deserve $8 million, yes, I deserve more. Where Erik Haula might become a cap issue somewhere down the line, especially with both these players coming into unrestricted free agency coming up in next year. So whether or not that's going to impact Boston's decision, I do expect Zacha's contract to be around $2 million, $3 million. And if that's anything higher, I think you're getting into a little bit of trouble. Anything lower than that, 2 to 3, is an absolute steal for the Bruins, and I would reflect that trade grade as such. For the New Jersey Devils, picking up a veteran leader, pretty solid. He's going to be able to play that top second-line center. Don't expect him to be put up 70, 80 points a year, but he is going to be able to play that two-way style of game. Going to be able to play that defensive role as much as he is going to be able to provide on the offensive side for a rebuilding team. I do expect Haula to do quite well next year, playing alongside some pretty good players out in New Jersey. Quite a few young good players at that. So for the trade grade, I'm going to give Boston an A, mainly because they get a player that is going to help them right now, as opposed to Erik Haula, who really isn't going to do them much good playing on the fourth line with players that don't really play his style of game. So for that, getting a solid player in Pavel Zacha, I think it's a great deal for the Bruins. And if they do find a way to sign him to a small deal, I do expect it to be 1 to 2 years. And if the contract's already gone, that's just the luck. But at the same time, I do expect Pavel Zacha to be around 2 to 3 million. Anything short, as I mentioned, is going to be a steal. Anything higher, you get into that sort of area where maybe not. But I do expect it to be around 2 to 3 million. And for the New Jersey Devils, I'm going to give them a B+. Mainly because they are getting a very solid player in Erik Haula, and whether or not they can keep him still remains to be seen. However, I do believe that Boston won the trade. They got the younger player, and in my opinion, they are going to be getting the better player in the long run. And for that, that's pretty much it. Boston wins the trade. Devils get a pretty solid asset. But if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. If you'd like to drop a like, if you really like to, consider subscribing. Tell all your friends. Leave a comment down below your thoughts